When is it time to say goodbye? Goodbye to your home, your city, or heck, maybe even your country. Maybe you just feel stuck, or you have that itch inside, that pull to go off and see something new. But when do you make the leap? Well, stick with me because I'll explain with you my journey abroad, what I learned along the way, the lessons, and some mistakes that might surprise you. Look at this. I'm in Bangkok. This is where I've been for the last couple of months, 2-3 months. My home, though, where I've lived for the last 20 years, is in Italy, in Florence. But the other day here, I was doing my running, but get this, for the first time ever, I ran on a treadmill. Yeah, the pollution can be bad here sometimes in Bangkok. I think it's due to the crop burning or a combination of that along with the industry, the heavy industry. But as you see now, it's blue skies out here and people are out exercising outside. Bangkok, as it should be, the land of smiles, Thailand. But maybe you're like me. Do you get this when you're exercising or that post-exercising bit and all these thoughts are running through your head? But I thought to myself, when do you make that change? When is it time to leave? So why leave at all? And my thoughts are, maybe you need a new adventure. Maybe you've just outgrown your surroundings, or maybe you feel that you just don't belong at all. So do you remember at the start when I said I'd explain my story and how it all began? Well, I grew up in Oklahoma, but I never felt like I belonged there in the land of the Midwest, plains everywhere, churches everywhere, and the mindset, I just didn't jive there. I knew I wanted something different. As soon as I could, I moved. I moved to Portland, Oregon. Up there was so beautiful, so green, so lush, and I enjoyed going out in the hillsides, Mount Hood, riding my bike, and so on. I began to love riding my bike up there in Oregon. But the rain got to me. So as soon as I had the opportunity, I packed my bags and I moved to California, Santa Barbara. And those are some great years there along the Pacific coast, riding my bike, meeting new friends, and really living the sunny, beautiful life. But Europe planted its seeds. One point, I traveled over to France, my first trip abroad. I went with my cousin. A friend of his was getting married down near Tours in the Loire Valley, and something inside of me clicked. I was back in the United States, and it didn't help that I was into bike racing and watching all these bike races over in Europe. I saw a different life, a different way of living, and I wanted to experience, but not just visit. I wanted to go there and live it. And I made the trip. So I packed my bags and I moved to Italy. I pulled it all off, but it sucked. Yeah, I got there and things were different than I imagined. The sidewalks were small, there was the language barrier and the cultural differences. I didn't know if I made a mistake or what I was doing, and I didn't know where I would go next. It wasn't quite as I had hoped and I had dreamed, but I stuck it out. I stayed. In year 2, 3, 4, 5, it started to become a little bit easier. I was living up on Lake Como at the time, and I was immersing myself in the culture there, learning everything I could. My Italian speaking skills became better and better. Yes, I know how to read and write Italian. It helped that before I left California, I had an instructor there. I enrolled in some night classes at the university from the instructor named Laura. I also had a tutor on the side, Francesca from Trieste, who was teaching me. So when I was there in Italy, it was just that little bit easier. I had 1, 2, maybe 3 Italian girlfriends over the years, and I was speaking Italian all the time, eating, dreaming, drinking Italian. Italy became my home, but along the way, there's something that changed inside of me that I never expected. What about you? Have you ever felt that pull, that desire to leave, to go abroad? I want to share with you my journey and what I learned along the way, and maybe something in there will resonate with you. Now for me, going back to the United States, well, it just feels strange. I haven't been in 3 years now. The last time was in California to Sacramento and also to Austin, Texas. As soon as you arrive there at the airport, you're passing security and customs at the border check, already you feel like you're in a foreign country, even though that's the country you grew up in. I don't know, I look around and I feel as though I'm the foreigner, even though I still have a US passport. It's a change. You can see it as a negative, but I think it's also a positive. You see your country in a different light. Learning a new language really opened my mind. Yes, as I said, I can read and write Italian. I speak Italian fluently, albeit with an accent, and some of you even let me know that down on the comments. Thank you very much, but I can communicate, and that's important. Also, you start to pick up the other languages as well. Spanish, French. It really kind of puts your mind muscles at work, and believe it or not, yes, these days here in Thailand, I'm learning how to write and read Thai characters. It's crazy. Also learning a few different phrases, and right now I'm really at the beginning. It's small, slow, baby steps, but I'm loving the journey. Once you start learning one language, you want to learn more languages. What about you? Do you speak any other languages? Have you ever tried? How far along are you? Let me know down in the comments. When is it time to leave? Well, it's not for everyone moving abroad. Maybe you have family that you need to take care of, or maybe you have a support structure and people all around you that it's just too much to leave behind. But if you feel the pull, well then here's my advice to make the trip. What you do is you go abroad, go for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months or more, travel around, stay in different locations for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time. Get that feeling, try to get that feeling as a local, but you're always gonna be a tourist. I don't like those people that say, yeah, I'm a local, but really they're just on a workcation staying for 1 month. They're not a local. But what you can do in that time, in 1 month, 2 months or so, is you can start to see around, kind of think about where you would like to live in that new city, in that new country, and get a feel for it. Because I had a whole dream of what I thought Italy was going to be like when I moved over, and it was nothing like that, but it was something even better than I expected. Sometimes the reality is different, sometimes harder, sometimes richer. Moving abroad isn't about finding the perfect place, it's about discovering a new version of yourself. And in Europe, in a lot of places around the world, it's not as easy as it'd be in the United States to move around. There's no U-Haul or simple leases like you'd find in the United States when you're looking in Italy. For instance, my first place out of 4+4 rental agreement, 8 years. Crazy, right? Well, people don't move around in rentals that much in Italy, in Europe. Also, you own all the furniture in a lot of those places, meaning in your bedroom, you own the closet, an armoire. You don't have built-in closets. In the kitchen, if I didn't have all the furnishings, the countertops, the stovetop, the microwave, the refrigerator, well, it'd be an empty room. It'd look like your bedroom. You wouldn't know the difference besides those holes in the wall where you hook up the gas and the water. You think you're gonna come to a new country and have it all easy? Well, forget about it. But you should still do it. Thinking about waiting a few years to do so? Well, let me tell you why that might not be a good idea. I know you can say, I'm 30 years old, I might wait until I'm 35 to do it, or I'm 50, I might wait until I'm 50 to make the big move. Don't wait, do it and do it now. Because waiting a few years could mean you don't have the health or you don't have that same sort of ability to enjoy life as you once had it before. Time changes everything and time moves quickly. You never know what's over the horizon. And I'm serious, you may wake up tomorrow and you may find everything has changed. Don't miss that opportunity. One thing I regret is right out of high school or maybe right out of the university, not going abroad to teach English. Make a little bit of money, but gain a lot of experience. In fact, now when I speak to youngsters and they're talking about what they're gonna do out of high school, I suggest to them to go abroad, to spend the year traveling and then start the university, because in that year you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you may find out that you want to go study different things than what you thought you're going to study initially, or you may find that university, well, it may not really be something that's for you, because once you get into the university cycle and you buy a car, you gain a little bit of debt, and you buy a house, you try to keep up with the Joneses, you get stuck into a cycle. I'm not saying that's bad, it's good for some people, but it's not good for me, and it may not be good for you, so don't do that. And I don't want to have any more regrets. I make moves now before it's too late. So how did I do it? How did I get that start on making a new life in Italy? Because there are legal things you need to consider. Well, I made several trips to the Italian embassy there in Los Angeles. I was able to get a job in Italy, albeit only for 6 months, and I got a work visa. So I had that got me over to Italy in the first place. Then once I was there, I was able to transfer it to an independent worker visa. And I kept renewing that over and over throughout the years. And then finally I had a permanent stay card that I didn't have to renew every couple of years. And then finally, yes, I have Italian citizenship now as well. In the United States, it was hard because I had to sell all my things. I mean, the good thing in the United States, there's Craigslist, and in the United States, it's big. You can sell to the whole US market. If you try to do that in Europe, you can only sell to the market in France if you're in France, or the market in Italy if you're in Italy. It's a lot harder to sell used things, something I've been thinking about. But in the United States, you can quickly have a garage sale, you can start to get rid of things, take it all down to a few trolley bags, a few check-in bags, a couple of backpacks, and you're ready to go. That's what I did. I did have one little container shipped over with some of my other things, and I was on my way. I had that stamp, I had that thing in the passport, the visa that got me in and out of Italy, and I was there. That was my new home. Was it lonely? Yes, and in fact, sometimes it still is. Living life on another side of the world, away from your family and everything else. But you know, I wouldn't change it at all. All the friends I met along the way, all the experiences I had, and all the new places I was able to see by living abroad and experiencing life abroad. I wouldn't change it for a minute. Do you remember at the start of the video when I asked, when is it time to make the change? Well, you're never really ready, and that's the truth. You don't need all the answers to start, just the courage to make the first step. Make that leap, and you might just find the journey, well, it's gonna change your mindset. A lot of this information is in my regular email newsletter that I'm putting out. It's full of all sorts of travel tips and hacks and life adventures. Also, if you're not yet a subscriber on my channel, I'd love to have you on board. That way you're not going to miss out on all the upcoming videos. Click that notification bell while you're down there and subscribing. Thank you very much. Making that first leap, that first recon mission to explore other countries, it can be complicated. You can learn from my trip. I'm here traveling around for 3 months. I made a video about the start of the journey and the countries I was going to visit. I am visiting along the way. Watch it here next. See you over there. This is Benjasiri Park. I'm going to do a few laps walking around now. See you later.